you sure you want
This
me
video is
keeping you
basically going to
alive?
be me
I
playing the
am a
game,
human,
these
after
2
all.
games that I did,
helpful
and basically
human
going through my
would
general
certainly
thought
be a welcome
process
change of
that I can
pace.
also, this is also so I can show my coaches what I was thinking and also for them to review. But for now, I'm just going to like go through it all, like try and explain the best I can my thought process and the whole reason why I did this and why I didn't. So, here we go.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, I didn't, as soon as I see the hog, I'm like, okay, I needed to play around corner, make sure I don't get hooked off. As soon as I saw the trap go out, I knew there was a hook coming. I heard symmetric turrets, so I turned around to get rid of those to help my team. I see the hog. I'm trying to play this corner very aggressive. I'm not going to use Nemesis form yet, because I'm going to use that when I know I can commit to this fight and actually win. Put shield up. I know I can get this brig. This brig's here by herself. So I'm like, okay, here we go. I see that there's really nobody there, so I'm like, okay, I'm not going to push in. I started trying to poke the sim. I missed my E, but somebody gets her, so that was really good. I look to peek, just see what's out there. I hear the hog still, so I'm playing a little cautious. I see the hog, so I put on my shield. I'm like, okay, I'm going to get some poke damage. I see that hog is by himself, so I'm like, okay, I'm just going to sit here and keep on poking. I'm not going to push up too far, so I don't get hooked and dropped off the map. Gonna put shield up again, just keep doing poke. I see the sim pushing up, and I know she's right there. So I'm going to keep trying to get her off point, but then I see the mortar out of the corner of my eye. I'm like, okay, Sim's dead. Our Som did die. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to play super passive, not really peek out and get myself hooked out of the map. I'd really like to play this room specifically on this map. I see that we're getting pushed pretty hard, so I'm like, okay, shield up. Still here poking the hog, I see him low, I try to go in with Nemesis. I notice that I'm now not level left for my heals, but unfortunately I back out. I'm like, okay. I throw E down to slow them, and I try to play around shield now. I get old, I pummel them, I'm like, okay, time to go in, time to start rocking. I didn't see the more HCP away, so I was really sad, but I did see the Hanzo, so I went for him. I don't know where the hog was. I see the hog. I'm like, okay, he is by himself. I realized though, okay, he is by this point. He can either hook me off the map or set me up at a point where I can die. I didn't know he had ult yet. I thought he did, but he doesn't. So I was playing that safe because I didn't want to get hooked and then just ulted off the map. So as soon as we kill the hog, I'm like, okay, time to come back to my corner. I continue to do poke. I see this Moira off here by herself, so I'm trying to kill her. I see Sim, I'm like, oh, I can get the Sim maybe. As soon as I see the hog, I'm like, okay, I need to play her corner. I almost get fucked here, but I'm like, okay, I'm just going to sit here and block. I'm trying to keep me alive. But sadly, there was Window, and Window did get me. With hog ultimate, so I was like, okay, that happens. And I'm now just waiting to respawn. Okay. I come back and I'm thinking, okay, they've used Window, they've used Hoggle. So I'm like, okay, I know they have 2 things that really, they don't have 2 things anymore that really put me up. I know they have Hanzo ult, so I'm like, okay, Hanzo ult I can really just easily get away from. I see my Moira die, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to play this a little bit farther away. And now that my shield's gone, I'm like, oh shit, so I'm going to just try, I know I'm really by myself here, so I just try to get a kill. That was a really bad idea for me to try and push in without my supports there. I should have waited. And it is the reason that they get this point. Because I could have waited for my teammates and probably pushed in and probably could have touched and gotten it. At this point, I'm like, okay, maybe I can touch. And then I'm like, nope, this ain't worth it. So I just throw shield. I back up. I'm trying to get the venture. I get the venture. I'm like, okay. Like, we can play this a little bit more aggressive. So I'm going to sit here on payload and like dance around this corner a little bit. I yeeted E from down fucking under just to see if I can get something going. I did. I got the Hanzo a little bit damage. Okay, as soon as I see Hog, I'm like, okay, I'm going to back away. Because Hog can yank me around the corner and really fuck me up here. So I'm like, okay, time to play super passive. Poke. Try and get the venture since I know that they don't have drill. I'm just going to light up this Hog constantly. I'm like, oh, he has low health, I can really get him. I realized that they used Immortality Field. I'm like, okay, I know that this is probably going to be my time to ult soon. So I start to push in. I'm like, okay, I back out, because I hear Dragon. So I'm sitting here, I'm just constantly contesting points. I'm like, oh shit, I'm really getting pushed. So I try to hold this room. And this room is really good for a couple of reasons. And I'm like, okay, Venture is here. I'm like, oh shit, Venture actually jumps back up. Okay, I try to confirm kill. I see the hog. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna chase hog here. Because I see that he's low and I can chase him. I hear that my soldier used his ult, so I try to back it. I put shield up to help him. And I realize, okay, they're down, we can just start pushing. So we just start pushing. Try to get the Hanzo, we get him. Just sitting here poking Venture now. I'm not gonna push up. Okay, Venture dead. So I know that they're down now. Around here, I do tab at. I press my tab to see if they switch, and I see, okay, they have a queen. So I know with queen that I can play a lot more aggressive, at least in my sense. I don't have to worry about the sense about getting like super yanked around a corner. Still have to worry about getting yanked into their team. So with queen, it's a lot easier to kill her. She doesn't have as much sustain as all. So I'm like, okay, I see EMP. I'm like, fuck it, here we go, let's rock. So I start going in, we start dancing, we do the full shimmy, here we go, and that's team fight 1. That's it. And their team fight is good to go. Okay, it's like, come back up now, time to leave. Because there's no point in fighting over there when I can play bridge, which is really safe. I put shield up to just try and get some early poke. I missed most of it, but I still get some damage in. I throw an E down to see if I can help my teammates. I'm just trying to really light up Queen to try and make her way shout. She uses shout, I back up. Now that she's here, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna use E, not E, my shift, sorry. I'm like, I'm gonna try and get a kill. I realize that I'm a little far in, so I try to pull out. As soon as I see that the fucking window is here, I'm looking, okay, time to throw that shit up. And I'm here really just trusting my supports to try and keep me alive. I'm like, okay, there's the immortality field. I try to get a kill. I died. I could have, and what I could have done there, so I'm trying to say every time I die, what I could have done differently. I could have sat there and blocked, and maybe had my BAP heal me more, and then just do punch block, which could have worked, but didn't happen. But it was still like, okay, I'm pushing out. I know I have 75% ult now, coming up. So I'm like, okay, if this team fight, I can build ult and possibly have it ready for next fight. So I put I put shield up there to try and block the queen from getting killed, because she was already semi-low. As soon as I saw the fucking immortality field, I'm like, okay, I need to play this a lot more aggressive. So I'm sitting here, I'm dancing, and I have ult. I'm backing up, and I pop ult, because I really wanted the queen to actually push in, so I could use my ult. Because if the queen pushed in, she has less room to work with, and I could actually chase her and kill her. Kill Venture. We're like, okay, that team fight's won. So we're just, again, I just constantly come back to this bridge, because I know this bridge is a really easy spot to hold, and it helps my DPS get poke damage. And gives my chance for my Sombra to actually get pushed in, because she can get, and I'm like, immortality gone. I'm like, okay, I see queen pack, so I'm just trying to do some damage. I see that Venture uses Burrow. I throw E down in front of me because I know the queen can push up, so I do that to make it slower for her to push up. I know I'm really fucked here. Like, I'm actually, like, super fucked. And I do die. I probably could have played my positioning a lot better, and I could have won that. But it was really just Venture ult. I just blocked to try and not take as much damage. Didn't work. So I'm now like, okay, they're in overtime. They are all on card. And we are down to soldier. I'm like, okay, let's do this. I realize this queen is really out of position. Sad armor does die. But I'm like, okay, time to get this fucking EMP. I'm like, ooh, here we go. Let's dance. I block a little bit to block some of that damage. I'm now just sitting here trying to burn this queen out. Queen is burned out. I see that they're getting close to touching. So I'm like, okay, here we go. I'm like, immortality, I get rid of that. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna dance around window to try and make it harder for him to hit me through it. And then we won.
2, 1.
Okay. I already planned on playing Ram a lot because I need to practice. I realized that I really like playing Ram on Saravasa. I don't know why. I don't know if it's the map layout or it's just Flashpoint in general. I really like playing him here, especially this first point. This first point, for me, just feels really good. I see they have a Zen, I see him jump down. I'm like, oh, maybe I can get him if I hit him with my E and get some damage in. Sadly, I didn't. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to play this corner, use natural cover. I'm like, ooh, I see a Zen. But then I tried to get the fucking the cast too because I saw he was low. Switched off. I'm like, okay, Reaper, it's Reaper now. Reaper uses raid, so I'm like, okay, I know that I can sit here, I can do a lot of damage to him, just dance around shield. I see he's low. This is a little risky, but I go in. I get the melee to confirm it. I'm like, okay, I see that they've dropped now. I'm gonna sit here, cap point. I'm like, okay, now I'm looking to see like who's where. Like, is there anybody out of position that I can actually really do it? I'm like, oh, I see a queen. I'm gonna go for this queen now. I slow her, and I start trying to get a lot of damage on her. Especially that she's now hacked my Stormy. I'm like, ooh, here we go, damage, damage, damage. I'm still playing this corner though. I block a little bit, block some damage. I don't realize here, and I'm sad, I don't realize that they're capping behind me. Till now. And I'm like, holy shit. So I'm like, oh, there goes Reaper of the Wraith. I'm like, ooh, I can get this. And he TP's out, sadly. So I'm like, ooh, maybe I can get this in. I get it, I'm backing out instantly. I know I'm low. I'm like, fuck it, I'm backing the fuck out now. I put shield up, and then I throw a slow to kind of help the Sombra confirm on the Reaper. Sadly, he uses Wraith, and I think he gets away, yes. I don't realize this whole time that the point is captured because of this fucking queen. And I'm really like, holy shit. And I'm like, okay, ooh, I see a lot of people going down. I pop ult. I probably shouldn't have in retrospect. That we easily could have won that with just Dragon and EMP. So I should have saved it. So I'm like, okay, I now know that they have used Coalescence and they're coming up on Reaper ult because Reaper is coming up. I didn't realize how close the queen was. I did know that the Reaper was close. So I hear a Reaper. I'm pinging here, and I'm like, oop, I see Reaper. I'm already preparing for fucking death penalty. We do kill him. Now, I could have played this a lot better. I get yanked in, and I instantly start to block. I try to punch block, and I really get yanked out of position, and I get punished more heavily. I'm here trying to get help with the queen, and then I die. So, how I could have done that better is playing myself better around the point, because the whole point's still just the point. So I could have played around cover, so when I got knifed, I didn't get yanked in as hard, and I could have probably had better target priority for squishies in my Nemesis one, instead of going for queen. So now, I'm sitting here thinking, okay, I saw Queen ult, they had the Reaper ult, now I know, okay, Zen ult's coming up, and I know Castle ult's coming up. So I'm like, okay, time to do this. So I'm looking for people. I see Queen. I didn't see Cass. And I'm like, oh shit. I was gonna pop it just to block, but I didn't. So I'm like, ooh, got him. Now I'm like, ooh, Zen out of ult. I can kill him. And now I'm really, yeah, but I say, I died, but I was like, fuck it. I really want that Zen. I didn't realize the Mercy would res me. So I'm like, awesome. So I'm like, okay, I'm trying to push shield in. I didn't realize I didn't have shield. That's on me not having good cooldown management. I'm like, ooh, she's super low, and we got Moira, and then see where we cap. And if I remember right, we do just get this point. Yes. Okay. So I'm like, okay, let's go. I'm instantly thinking, okay, next fight. I haven't looked yet to tab to see that they did switch off. So I'm like, okay, I do realize that at least thinking what they had, I realized, okay, they're close to Moira. So we get to this point. And I'm sitting here like, okay, where is everybody? I feel like I heard somebody to my right over here, but I think I was being just schizophrenic. I instantly see this queen here, and I put shield up, trying to help my Mercy from getting picked off. In retrospect, I probably should have put my shield closer, and it'd been just as good. I see that McCurry gets yanked here, and I'm like, oh shit. So I throw E down here to prevent the Reaper from pushing in really fast, and so it's Lucio. I see Lucio's at half, not Lucio, I see Reaper's at half. And I try to go in. I didn't realize that, oh shit, they used Moira ult. Fuck, I can't kill him. So I back out. I'm trying to play his shield down. And I'm like, fuck it. Okay, I'm just gonna use Nemesis and just go for it. I'm just gonna full fucking sin. So I'm like, okay, chasing down the May. I'm like, fuck. Ice wall. So I'm like, okay, Queen. And then I knew I heard a Moira. I'm like, ooh, here we go. And kill her. My E use ability's gotten a lot better.
System compromised.
So now I'm trying to push up and hold this high ground here. Because holding this near their spawn, if you can hold it here, it really, like, it snowballs on, like, cap rate. I heard Queen coming in, so I instantly throw E down to do a lot of damage on her. And luckily, she uses her shout, so that's already one thing gone that is, like, really good for her. She already used it. So I saw that, and I'm like, oh, shit. But luckily, my Curie fucking has me. My Curie got me covered. So I'm like, ooh, I can get this Queen. Queen dies. I'm like, ooh, Lucio. Lucio sadly does get away. I'm like, shit. So now I'm like, okay, throw E down. I shouldn't have thrown E down there, to be honest. So I'm like, okay, just dance, try and survive, and I die, sadly. Okay, so what I could have done differently there is definitely using my E better, and I need to be keeping an eye on my shield and not using it as much, or at least knowing when it's up and how long until it's back up. So I'm like, okay, I'm coming back now. I know that Reaper has ult because I haven't seen him use it in a while. I know that Lucio has his ult coming up. I didn't realize the Mei did because I wasn't thinking. I hear this Reaper here. I heard him. I ping him and I'm already doing damage. He uses Wraith and that's like really good. I'm like, I wasn't really prepared for it. And then I just see this Queen sitting AFK, so I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna kill her.
Securing this objective.
So we got point now, and I instantly, as soon as I see that everybody's gone and we won, I cancel my Nemesis one so I can already get it back on cooldown. I am sitting here thinking, like, can I hit that from here? So I line it up just to see, because I know that they're not going to touch. I'm like, damn, I can hit that from there. So I'm like, okay, I need to remember that. So I'm coming up on ults again, so I'm like, hell yeah. And we also get the Mei, so that's really cool. I do hear this Queen here through the wall, so I'm like, what the fuck's going on out here? And I see her, and I see her team, and I'm like, I'm so confused. I see the Reaper was standing still, so I'm like, ooh, give me that. I see Reaper use Wraith. I'm like, I'm confused as shit. Like, I'm like so fucking confused at what I'm watching, so I'm like, fuck, I'm just gonna confirm that. I thought we were being friendly here, so I was like, said hello, but apparently, fuck not. I see Reapers here, so I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna chase this. And I knew he was gonna TP that way, but I didn't get the damage. And I'm like, ooh, I see the Queen, and I'm Queen over here again. I'm like, I'm really confused on why she's just sitting here being AFK. But I'm like, fuck it, fine for me. And I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna use E. That was really a little sketch, because I'm like, ooh, maybe that Lucio definitely could have gotten away, or he could have used his fucking beat a lot earlier, and I could have been fucked there. But he didn't. So I hear Lucio behind me, but I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna leave. And the Mercy comes back to me, so I'm like, okay. I still hear him, and I'm trying to kill him. And I tried to save the Hanzo here, but I didn't have enough time to do any damage. So I'm like, ooh, can I get the Lucio? And he gets away. I'm like, shit, okay, that sucks. So I'm backing, so I'm trying to do damage now. I'm like, okay, I can get the Queen maybe? No. So I throw shield up, just throw up a defensive shield. I'm like, okay, just trying to do damage now and see if I can get a kill. I see that the Lucio is still low, and I'm trying to get it. But as soon as I saw that, the more he's on, I'm like, ooh, fuck, I can't really do much here. So I'm now backing in, and I'm trying to get this fucking Queen. I know I'm dead here, though, because I got hit by, no. What I could have done better there is instead of going for the Queen, I could have just whipped around and try and duel the Reaper, which is really bad, because Reaper's really good at dueling. But I maybe could have gotten more value trying to duel the Reaper, or gone for somebody who was closer to the Queen.
That party was boring.
So I'm like, I saw that coming. I'm like, oh shit, yeah, this is definitely gonna be a Reaper ult of all time. So I'm like, okay, while they're sitting here fighting, I can walk around and try and get some value. I hear Queen behind me, but I'm like, shit, I can actually try and get some damage here. So I block. Hopefully my supports would have came in to help me. So I'm just gonna sit here and try and block. I throw up a defensive shield, and I back out instantly. Because I want to be able to get healed before I push in. But I'm like, as soon as I saw the carry ult, I'm like, fuck it, we're going in. Full fucking sin. So we just go in. And we're just going in. We're just eating it. We're eating it up. As soon as I get ult, pop that shit. I'm like, fuck it. This is my domain. Instantly, I'm just like, ooh, who's next? Who's next? So as soon as I saw Team Dead, I'm like, okay, time to look on point. It's like, holy shit, we got that. And now it's basically just GG's because we're like, oh, they're back. So I'm sitting here, and it's like, okay, that was that.